Welcome to May the Zoo Be With You. I got that wrong first take. Anyway, I'm joined by Louis and Josh in this week's podcast from Gen Con on day 3. Everyone is incredibly tired, and both of these guys tied one on last night, so they turned up really late. So I really hope you enjoy this show.
Well, what is going on, everyone?
You're gonna do the thing.
Simon's gonna come in. We're gonna have Simon do that thing.
Is he? Okay.
Well, what is going on, everyone? Welcome to Gen Con and a special emergency episode of May the Zoo Be With You with with George's shirt, but without George. It was Josh and me from Gen Con. Hopefully you're having yourself a great day. What do you think about Gen Con so far?
What do you mean, what do I think about Gen Con? This thing is huge. This thing is massive.
We should say that this special episode starts with Sorcery because Sorcery was kind enough to let us use their booth. Check out this booth.
You're going to give all of our...
Awesome. Look at this. It's a Sorcery booth, and they're hanging out, talking to people over there. And we're live taking up their space while they are doing their booth thing.
Don't point the camera down. There's art from the next set.
There is art from the next set. I haven't even seen it. We haven't looked. We just were told not to damage it, which is fair because we would probably do that. And I mess up all the thing here. Whatever. It's still recording. And so here we go. We're gonna chat about Gen Con. So the setup of this episode is going to be we're going to give you an overview of stuff here, and then we're going to actually go to each space that the TCGs and games are happening that we talk about on the podcast. Massive, the number one most sold out Gen Con ever.
For sure. I asked my friend told me the most sold out Gen Con ever.
Sold out Gen Con ever. But really, 70,000 tickets sold,
yes.
Pre-sold. It's the only time they've ever sold out of all the badges, before the event went live. So kind of crazy with that.
And you can tell too, when you're just in the city of Indianapolis right now, I've been here a couple times, it is buzzing.
Everyone is Gen Con, and none of the businesses know what Gen Con is.
They all dressed in costumes for superheroes.
They all think it's Comic Con. They think it's Marvel and all the comic book character stuff, and it's not. It is very much like D&D. And actually, this is way less TCGs are here than I thought, or way less TCG. I don't know what you say, presence. Like it's a little bit weird. Like you realize how much bigger the industry is outside of TCGs when you see this many people here for board games and D&D.
I took the opposite takeaway, actually. I was surprised. I thought there would be like little to no TCG presence, and the massive Lorcana events, the massive Magic crowd, and some big vendors selling mostly equipment, not a ton of singles, mostly equipment, your binders, card sleeves, things like that. I thought there was going to be like nothing. I need the sleeves for our event. I thought it was going to be nothing I could get my hands on. There was way more than I thought there was going to be.
Oh, that's interesting. That's a different perspective.
Well, because Magic has its own con, right? So I don't necessarily associate Gen Con with major TCG events, but it always was in the past.
Yeah. Until Magic had their own cons, this was a massive thing for Magic.
Yes.
And now it is obviously mostly geared to D&D. And there are, I promised myself I would not buy any board games. On day one, I wanted to buy a board game just to play with Donald and with Josh and to have fun and play. And then on my way to getting a bag for that board game, I bought another board game, and then it just kind of spiraled out of control. So I think I have like 8 different games that I've.
Well, and then you purchased another game because you wanted to make it up to me when we tested possibly the worst game.
Yeah,
not going to say which one.
I don't remember what it's called. We tested this game, and it was like a work of war.
100 pieces and an hour to explain the rules.
Yeah, it was like a worker placement, and nobody knew anything was going on. It was crazy. And then I felt bad, and Josh had said they could like pirates. So I didn't want to buy another.
That is not what I said. I said pirates are better than the thing right next to it. I don't even remember what it was.
I thought
theme.
Josh was.
I just said pirates was best.
So then I bought another board game, but then I felt guilty about it. And Donald just let me buy the board game. He was standing right next to me.
What are you doing?
So I felt bad about it because I didn't need another board game. So then I called Josh and I said, "Hey, I got you a gift."
That's what I say.
It's a board game about pirates. He goes, "I don't want that. I don't want anybody to play it."
Dollars too.
Well, we played. It's called Plunder.
I'm addicted. I want to play it again. I want to play it again.
It's like Settlers of Catan meets pirates.
Garbage.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's what we're doing. That was the intro. So, Sorcery booth. Let's talk about Sorcery.
Yes.
Originally, they didn't have a booth. They didn't have anything set up, and then they ended up getting, a cool, awesome booth. It's a great location. It's right by the bathroom, one of the bathrooms. So it's got a ton of traction around here.
Number of people that walk through and then double back and come back blew my mind. We were hanging out here yesterday. You see someone walk by, you see them, one of these, they turn and just walk right back. They're like, all right, what's going on here?
Yeah. And it's got a pretty good line out the whole time. But the really cool thing is they have I didn't know that this was going to be the way this was, in the Lucas Oil Stadium. And if you're like me, you're like, I have no clue what that is. That's where we're going to go in the rest of this video. But in Lucas Oil Stadium, that's where they have all the events, or not all the events, but a good chunk of the events. That's where the Sorcery events are. And so there's 4 or 5 huge banners for Sorcery. There's on the field that football players feel on. I mean, it's like crazy.
The Indianapolis Colts, you got there.
I don't do soccer. I do real sports like hockey. And it's cool. It's awesome. You can see the advertising for Sorcery is kind of over in all these different areas, and it's a really big win. So
Sorcery's leaning into what it does well. It is so eye-catching. It does a ton of things well, but the main feature that I think it markets itself really well is it's eye-catching.
Yeah.
It treats its art, its creativeness with a ton of respect, and that is on display at Gen Con. Like I said, the booth that we see is just covered in amazing art, and all of their banners. It's when you're walking along, you see it, it catches your eye, it makes you want to pay attention, and they are crushing that. And couple that with this display case they got going on up here.
With Arthurian Legends?
Arthurian Legends booster box spinning in the display case.
And also with the art, Melissa Benson was right behind Josh. I think that Josh farted. I'm pretty sure Josh farted and he scared her away.
That is not staying in the podcast and also not true.
It's definitely staying in the podcast. Probably not true. Anyway, I think because we were taking up so much space, she had to go for a while. But so she's here signing things, and I've heard a couple of interactions of people who are like old Magic collectors and like, oh my gosh, Melissa Benson's over there, we should go get our card signed. So it's cool to get people around. I just saw somebody get a foil Onyx core signed. I did not have the heart to ask if it was alpha or beta.
You didn't have it in you?
I didn't have it in.
You see the old school Magic guys coming by, and old school Magic people coming by having our signed cards. And yesterday we were giving out packs, right? Yeah. And they were cracked packs. They're like, oh, she's signing for Sorcery. If you like old school Magic, check this out. And a couple of people were like, got a foil? And what? I was like, flip it over, dude. It was crazy.
So it's good. And then they also have boxes available. And then the promos. You stole an extra one. The promos are... Oh, is that going to go? It's not because I'm in the settings. You've seen the promos if you care.
Hold it back by your face.
No,
there you go. Now
look how big.
Zoom in.
Editor, edit this. That's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen.
So they got the promos, and a lot of people coming to get the promos, but there's not a line. Like we've seen this in the past at other cons where there's like these massive lines for these promos. There's not like massive lines for the promos, but it's really cool because everybody who gets a promo, it doesn't just get a promo and walk away. They talk to the team about the game, and it's not just, it's like, it's Simon and Chase right here. It's not some clubs like Josh and I, it's Simon and Chase, and they're doing the promo stuff, and they're talking about the game, they're telling people about it, and then they're doing learn to plays at Lucas Oil, and people are coming back from the learn to plays and picking up boxes of product and stuff like that. So it's really good. It's really well done. So
it's been a lot of fun. It's been really cool to see what the team can put together
with a small space.
Yeah.
So their booth is smaller than I would have wanted or anticipated. I would say, no, Sorcery has to have one of the bigger booths here, and
they got a good size. We have opposite takes, buddy. Yeah, but if I can fit in it, it's a good sized booth.
That's right. We do have 5 people in here. Yeah. But my point is, like, they're making the most out of all the spaces and connecting things, and it's really well done. So today I'm drafting at 4 o'clock. That'll be my first official Sorcery event.
If you find this video and beat Louis in the draft, comment down below, because that'll make me giggle.
I've been trying to figure out who's in the draft so that I can be like, hey, ask me to get cards. But I've also been practicing. So, that's the Sorcery part. All right, everyone, well, welcome back to the video. This video has changed a lot since we recorded because nothing we do does the way we said. And we got Donald. It got better because we have Donald here. So I thought we would continue and continue the video by going with like what was our general overview of Gen Con.
My general overview is that I'm going to force you to rock on this chair this whole video today.
Well, watch this.
I don't
Ready?
rock.
I can rock without doing anything. You're rocking me. No,
Because-
you were rocking me.
Because you are
Donald,
you are a small child.
I'm a child.
Donald, kick us off.
Yeah.
Favorite thing about Gen Con?
Favorite thing?
Is that what you asked? I wasn't
Not
listening
what
to
he
you.
asked. But
What do you ask?
General
Yes,
thought.
over-
Yeah.
overview.
No. Yeah.
Okay.
Favorite. The idea is
Overview.
favorite thing, favorite purchase, thing to do differently, or whatever else you want to say.
Go.
Favorite thing?
Go.
Wow. Probably getting to play in an event with my two best friends.
We did do a triple.
Trios, not
a
trios,
team
not three-headed giant. Trios, full box, sealed event.
of
Best
Outlaws,
of three.
Outlaws of Thunder Junction.
And we didn't bring cowboy hats.
And
Biggest failure.
that was fun. Donald made Josh play the control deck and made me play the Golgari deck.
Yeah,
And then
absolutely
Donald
bullied
played-
us.
Donald bullied us so he could just play his easy Lorcana-esque mono red burn, and the rest of us had to play actual decks.
I want to cut Outlaws Merriment, and it soloed me games.
Wildly inaccurate, but
Totally true. Everything we just said, the most true. I asked my friend Louie. Louie, was that the most true?
Of everything that we've said on the podcast, that might be the least true thing that we've ever said. And this is a podcast that said there were serialized fetch lands in Modern Horizons 3. We had fun though. That was good.
Yeah.
That was good.
yeah, I mean, opening an entire box and then trying to sort it into 3 bestly tuned decks in under an hour.
With 2 people stealing cards and putting cards on your table too. Like I was trying to build my deck, and Josh would be like, "Check this one out. Check this one out," and I couldn't comprehend.
Listen, I've heard of your deck building prowess. I was just trying to help.
I had the most bombs in my deck, and I still bombed. All right,
But
Yours is a little harder to pilot.
I got ragged.
Well, you played Rakdos. You can't be blamed.
Yeah,
No.
twice, and that stupid laughing guy. I beat him. I beat him game 2. I beat the second round. I beat the Rakdos deck, but that stupid laughing guy. He just used my deck against me and just committed all the crimes against me, and so then I had no more crimes, and it sucked.
He
I hate
was
that.
so
I hate
mad.
that card. That
And,
is a
and he might have had a reason to be.
yeah. That's a bad card.
All right. The thing that I would change is I'd find a way to bring the con and that event at Lucas Oil Stadium, the additional play space.
Oh,
You
yeah.
got to find a way to bring that closer together.
There's no way. That,
Because you guys were out there a lot. I was at the other location a lot. I had a lot of steps in just moving back and forth between the con and Lucas Oil and
yeah.
getting some work done. Oh,
well, you don't even realize that all the hotels in the area have stuff in their lobbies too. Like,
right.
you can't see everything you need to see. You walk around to another building and
Yeah.
there's something else going on. We left the convention center at 1 a.m. last night, and there were people everywhere
Everywhere.
playing stuff still.
The-
In like
the-
nooks under stairs of an empty convention
The
center.
busiest thing last night at 1 a.m. was the pinball machines. They were
Yeah, they were packed.
And they're 24/7.
Yeah, I saw that sign last night for the first time, and I was like, "Oh, people are just here
Yeah.
all the time playing pinball."
There's a guy who comes to Gen Con for, I don't know this, but I'm saying there's
Yeah.
probably a guy who comes
It's
to Gen
true.
Con to sit there and
Just
play
to do
pinball for 4 days. Yeah.
The lady I was walking out, she was checking out too. She said, "Yeah, there was a break dancing competition last night."
That's random. That's right.
Wild.
Why are you not in that?
I can't break dance.
Me neither.
I can't regular dance.
I can break myself while I try to
Yeah.
dance.
All right, my favorite purchase, I have 2 of them. I bought a Melissa A. Benson original piece of artwork, and it's, I think I'm understanding this right. I was in her line reading about the artwork on her website.
Mhm.
Jeffrey Meffers, who is he did like a couple of the dual lands for
Yep.
Magic, and then he was, if I remember his history right on Magic the Gathering, he was like the creative director for the early Magic the Gathering. So
Yep.
he was one who organized all the artists and all that stuff. He has a blog where he comes up with a idea for artists to do art for, and then commissions out artists to do that idea, just as like a fun thing. So he commissioned her to do this painting, and it's charcoal on some sort of like, so it's different than Melissa A. Benson's normal paintings, which are like really vibrant, really, it's just cool. So it's really awesome to have that.
So, do you have to say the A every single time?
That's how it's said on the card. I want to be respectful. You know, it would be like if you were
I'm
like,
not saying-
if Josh was like, I want to be called Joshua, I would totally be like, all right, Joshua.
No, you wouldn't.
No.
You wouldn't.
That's because I don't respect you.
So,
But I respect Melissa.
well,
That's,
and your peers don't respect you. So look what we have in common.
that's fair.
Melissa A. Benson and I have gotten to be such good friends. She's just Missy B at this point.
Missy B.
Missy B.
Missy B.
No, that was the thing that stood out again is probably the interaction between, the people that I don't want to say idolize, but definitely like put on pedestals, whether you're creating Sorcery, you're creating a board game. Gavin Verhey was here. The interface time between just the casual average fan and people that are making the things that we make YouTube channels about, like, because we're crazy people, was absurd. I never thought it was going to be that much face-to-face time with those people, but hey, that's what makes Gen Con cool.
The only person who I really felt was missing was Mark Rosedotter's
Can't.
aunt.
And George.
And yeah, George was kind of there because he had a Hawaiian shirt on.
I did have a Hawaiian shirt on. If George was here, do you think he would have been the most popular person at the convention center?
Yes.
Probably.
He wouldn't have started that way, but by the end,
Donald,
yeah,
you could have done a cosplay.
I
that
could've.
would've been good.
I am missing more hair than the two of you. So
Yeah.
All right, my second favorite thing that I bought was Thunder Junction.
no, Thunder Road
Vendetta.
Vendetta.
It's a board game. We played it once in the mall, and it's a blast. That's it.
I can't do favorite thing that I bought because I'm cheap and I didn't buy anything. No, Island Noodles were the favorite thing I bought, dude. Oh, they were so good. Donald, what about you?
Favorite thing I bought. I didn't buy anything.
Let's go.
But with the prize tickets that we collected,
Yeah, I heard this story last night.
I did buy a really sweet deck box for myself.
These guys.
So
These poor guys that we're playing against in these events are just grinding for tickets. I don't care about the tickets.
Look,
I know Josh doesn't care about the tickets.
Then-
I know Donald doesn't care about the tickets that much. And we beat him, and I'm like, guys,
Then you shouldn't lose to me in game 3 of turns.
and they would not just give these guys the tickets. I was
You
like,
shouldn't-
why are we holding on to the tickets? Nobody cared.
The guy I played against was a legitimate grinder. He shouldn't lose to me then. Like, there you go. Now here's your ticket.
what would I do different though? Hotel.
Yes,
That
hotel
is
for
the
sure.
number one.
We're at the airport.
You should decide that you're going earlier than 2 months before.
Yeah.
You should definitely get in the hotel queue thing where they go on sale.
Yeah.
You need to hotel is number one priority, because if we were there in connection to the convention center where we could just walk back and forth, where we could
So much.
go
Yeah.
out and do something and then come back, not have to drive 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, and you
find
trying
somewhere
to
park.
Sherpa us back and forth to your car to get your stuff? Because
I
I'm in a
did that-
sorcery thing. I'm in a sorcery. Guys, I'm in a sorcery thing.
I was a pack mule for most of the week.
That is, I will just accept that, even though it's not true. But
Hit us in the comments. We got war stories.
all right, that's a little more about our Magic Fest. Anything else to say about that?
Maybe the most fun way to do a casual Magic event is put you on a team with your friends.
Yeah, I think that should be. And I wish we could do that at the store. You just need 24 people, which makes that really hard.
Yeah. And the problem is it's so precise. You can't have 25, you can't have 26, you can't have 23. You need 24.
Exactly 24 people. But it was an absolute blast. It was fun to The only thing I wish we could have done differently is make it more casual and rotate decks. So game one.
Are you really
Stealing your take.
taking my idea?
Yeah.
Ah.
Game one, you play, and then you have to pilot the deck to your left.
So you don't rotate decks. You actually stand up and move the seats.
Yeah.
You rotate deck and opponent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be good.
But then you would have had to play control, and
Yeah, I
We
would have
would've went 0-3.
I would have dropped the ball. But to be fair, we only went 1 and 2.
we went
No,
2-1.
we didn't. No. Hold on.
You
Donald,
went
what did you go?
I went 2-0 or 2-1.
I also went 2-1. Louis.
I went 1 and 2.
Oh,
In my
okay.
defense.
Okay.
In my defense, I was playing the most difficult deck to pilot.
Not even close.
I only had 5 mythics in my deck. I mean, how do you even play a game? How do you do it?
Our team name was Team Backpack because we were carrying him.
I played pretty
You
well.
did, actually.
I got
You didn't do anything wrong.
I got
think you got
backed
some bad beats.
going 1 and 2 is pretty impressive. I
You're
The
stuck.
Those two Rakdos stupid laughing jester.
What's more impressive is that he actually finished the event.
That is true.
And
Well, to
after-
be fair, there's no shot in hell that was going to happen without these two. These events start at 4 o'clock, so you build your deck and it's 5 o'clock, and then you play your first game at 6 o'clock, and then you're like, I'm hungry, and what's the point of this? I already had the fun, which was building the deck and seeing if it worked.
Yeah, but your first match was against Rakdos, so that's why you were ready to go. You're
Yeah,
done.
All right, Donald also played in a bunch of Lorcana events, and I did absolutely nothing other than get the Lorcana pin and the Lorcana line, so I know nothing about Lorcana. Donald, how was the Lorcana at Gen Con?
It was good. It wasn't wasn't like DLC level where you're just this big 2-day tournament, but they were just little events, 3 round events. But the cool thing was you could win an exclusive 2024 convention playmat.
Oh, do you have one of those?
How many did you get?
I have exactly 0 of those.
Donald.
I played 2 events and I went 2-1 in both of
I
them.
want you guys to know, before we did this, Donald said that he would win a playmat and bring it to the podcast.
For the podcast.
And that's pretty much the only reason he's here.
I don't remember.
that in his dash of
All right.
good looks.
I guess we'll just move on to the next thing. No.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to win.
All right.
How were they run? I mean, I know you played sealed.
Yeah.
There was no bigger event than that, so it's just mostly casual. But was it like there was a lot of people there? Was it run well?
Yeah, I mean, every event that I played in was to capacity. I think there was one event that was firing beside me that maybe had one person didn't show up or something. So
They're probably getting food.
yeah, like it happened. I mean, I almost missed my first event that day. Started at 10 a.m. and trying to get there, find parking, get in through the running of the nerds to get through the.
That's the thing to change. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, it was tough to get in when the exhibit hall opens at 10 and everybody's just everywhere and you're trying to get to an event that starts at 10. That's rough.
It's really hard to put into context how big the event is. I was trying to think of a way to do that yesterday with like B-roll, but like you can't. It is the entire convention center.
I mean,
the entire Lucas Oil Stadium.
I think that's the best way to do it. Is the football field of the city is the spillover play space.
Yeah.
I think that's the best way to put it into perspective.
Yeah. And then the hotels around also have things. I mean, it takes up the entire, I don't know, that section of the city is just Gen Con. Everywhere you go is just people with giant board game backpacks
And badges.
and badges.
Every restaurant, badges.
Yeah. And so when you get in these there, it's like impossible to get to the events and stuff. But there's nothing else to do. I was like, what could they have done differently? They can't. You just got to know it.
There was conversations, there was murmurings from some of the people just sitting in the hallway that I heard about like, well, what are they going to do now? Are they going to move it to Vegas? So there's some there's some fear of will Gen Con continue to be in India, and I hope it does. I don't want it to move. My whole life, Gen Con, like this is Gen Con.
It seems like it's in Indianapolis.
Feels
I
like
mean,
it
hasn't
feels like
been
it
there
has
for that long.
Really?
Yeah, like it's moved.
Yeah, but
I'm just wrong.
It's not.
Sorry.
I want it to.
It didn't start
I
here.
want it to be selfishly. I know it doesn't, but selfishly, I want it to be here. This is Gen Con.
I wonder if there's like contracts in place with cities like this.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh God,
they
the
usually-
revenue. The revenue.
I mean, it's great.
they do like so many years contracts that they'll come there just for the
Lorcana promos were all the same as other things. That was interesting.
Yeah, the promo. So if you go to the product booth, the promo was the Flotsam and Jetsam promo that they gave out.
It was just free. Are you
and
gonna buy
it was, no, it was free for. It was weird because when you started the line, because there was a line that wrapped around the building to get to the booth, they handed you the first anniversary pin, which was what I thought would be like the hot topic thing that I'm going to have to stand in line to get. So I got that as soon as I stand in line. Then when you get to the booth, they hand you a promo.
Yeah.
And then you can buy something.
Right.
Like, I don't understand why not just give me the pin and promo at the beginning?
Yeah.
Or why was it separated into...
I can tell you why. Louis George. We got in line. He's like, hey, you want a Lorcana pin? We got in line. We got a pin. We got there, saw how long the line was. And he's like, you want to get some food? I was like, yes. Yes, I do.
Yeah, there were plenty of people that were hopping in line, getting a pin, hopping out of line, and trying to get another pin. But the nice thing was that entire weekend, it was the same 2 people standing at that line handing out pins every day, all day long. So, I mean, there's no way they can remember 70,000 faces, but they kind of did. Like, they would come back and you would come back the next day and they would judge you. They would say,
Definitely call judge the second day. I've already the second one.
it was like, we're trying to make sure it's
Look at
one
Donald
per person.
talking.
1 pin per person, sir.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, cool, thanks. Give him a pin. Like,
I waited in their 5-minute line.
Yeah.
No, I gotta say, yours was the move though. Because when we saw how long that line was, and the lady was like, we asked her, she's like, I don't know, I'm at the back of the line and I've been here since 8:30. We were like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
well, the big appeal was they had first chapter troves.
Right.
Limited, there were like supposedly 50 a day.
Right.
At 6 a.m., there was already a line of more than 50
Just
people.
to get the trove.
It doesn't open
The,
until 10.
the Trove meta, that being the collectible product.
I never could have called that.
It's so weird. I don't get it.
Well, the chapter 1 is
I am-
more specific because it was vastly underprinted to the others.
Yeah.
They reprinted chapter 1 boxes. They didn't reprint chapter 1.
No, listen, I understand that.
But
It's
here's-
still just weird to me.
Here's the fun part. Yesterday, what was yesterday? What day is today? It's Sunday.
Sunday.
Yeah,
Sunday.
Saturday. People get in line at 6 a.m. to get their troves. They come by at like 9 a.m. and say, oh, there was a shipping error. We actually don't have any more chapter 1.
That's awesome.
So, what actually happened to them, though, is my question.
Someone probably stole
The conspiracy theorist in me says that there wasn't a shipping error. Something else happened.
Ravensburger listed them on TCG Player to get the markup.
It's so interesting to see how each game has done the promos. Like Sorcery, it was just go to the booth and get it. And they like basically they didn't make you sit there and talk, but they were so engaging with conversation that when you got your promo, they'd ask you questions and you'd end up talking to the Sorcery team for 10 minutes, right? And then you learn about the game. So it worked really well. Star Wars was the stupid, like, it's only stupid because I didn't get it. But
no, it was stupid.
You had to get on the app at 9 a.m. and try to get your ticket, and it never worked right. It never refreshed right.
The Gen Con app is the biggest letdown of this weekend.
So bad. And then, Lorcana was like that. It's just interesting to see how all the different games do promos. And then Magic, meanwhile, you have to play in an event to get the Lightning Bolt promo. That's pretty cool, and that shows you, you see on days like this how big Magic is, that they're just like, we don't need a booth because Ultra Pro has a booth there, and they've got all of our playmats and our logos all over the thing.
Wizards had that centralized stand area, but it was like just a showcase for passing by. I think it was Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast.
I didn't see it.
In the play space, there was a gigantic centerpiece.
In the play space
for Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast. And all it was a couple showcases. The Mystery Booster 2
I saw
Electric
that.
Boogaloo was in one of the cases. Some Secret Lair stuff. But that's all they did. Because you're right, Pastimes, all these other massive Magic the Gathering businesses had gigantic Magic the Gathering banners printed.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It was also crazy to see how many people play D&D and Pathfinder. Walking by the Pathfinder, there's 2 mega auditoriums of people playing.
Biggest regret, it didn't do True Dungeon.
Yeah.
It's underneath Lucas Oil, and it's like a real life Dungeons and Dragons thing, where you're actually going to the rooms and at the dungeons, and
we could have fought with swords.
Yeah.
We could have LARPed.
All right, we failed. All right, we failed you as content creators, we failed you as people, and we failed as friends.
All right, let's talk about how Star Wars failed. Because I thought of the games that we cover, Star Wars, Sorcery, MetaZoo, Star Wars, Sorcery.
There was a MetaZoo,
We saw
somebody had $1 MetaZoo blister packs.
$1 MetaZoo packs and
$20
Wilderness box.
That's what it,
Lorcana. Those are the games, right? Sorcery, Lorcana. Yeah.
Star Wars is the biggest letdown, but Star Wars has been the biggest letdown for a couple months now.
So, they had the Asmodee table, and let me start with the good things. They had the Asmodee table, and what I liked about Star Wars particularly is that they had a learn to play thing going on at their booth, and it was a huge booth with
really well done.
Probably 16 people teaching 16 people at a time how to play.
Right.
I mean, it's a big giant thing. So they really wanted people to go learn how to play.
Yes.
For a game that they couldn't get. It's like, oh, it's a good thing you learned how to play. Too bad you can't get any cards.
But I think the thing that I didn't like is that they didn't seem to be like a community. They weren't like fostering. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Like maybe I didn't hang out in the place like Zach. We should have had Zach on. Like Zach played in the Star Wars events. Can you pretend to be Zach?
I wish I could pretend to be someone else. Would you like me more?
No. I don't know how it felt there because I wasn't there, but it felt like it was more of a corporate-y thing, which makes sense because it is.
It is. And that's the thing. Is
but even Lorcana felt very.
Now, I will say the Ravensburger booth and the Asmodee booth felt very similar, right?
Okay.
They are more massive corporations. They have other things going on. Right. Although at this convention specifically, it was Star Wars Unlimited and Lorcana. That was the thing each one had going on.
That's not true though.
They had the Chronicles of Light board game coming out.
I mean, there was, so for every table that was playing Lorcana in the play area, there was a competitive, like with Ravensburger has puzzles, there were people doing team puzzle building. Yeah, it's a timed thing. And there were villainous tournaments. There were that new game that I can't pronounce the name of, Amacelia or something like that, which looked really sweet. They were doing.
I don't judge any of you. I judge competitive puzzle builders a little bit, like a little bit.
You don't get it. You play Magicthegathering.
But I expect to be judged a little bit also.
There's also, when I was in the Lorcana line, I said, "Hey, are you guys here for Lorcana? What's the deal?" She said, "No, although it looks cool." She goes, "There's limited puzzles at these things, and they were in line for a limited puzzle that you could only get by waiting in line."
Sure, but I would argue a puzzle is not, like, Lorcana is its own entity. It's its thing. Star Wars, a puzzle is a general idea that any company produces. Like,
sure.
Okay.
Anyway, back to Star Wars. I just didn't feel like Star Wars cared about the organic side. Like they didn't have anything to come to the table if you didn't have a reason to go to Star Wars.
There's so many cool criticisms that can be lobbed at Star Wars Unlimited this weekend. The fact that the major corporation with a massive game that was probably the third most played game in the entire room.
No.
All Lorcana, Magic, that seemed to be the next biggest one when you talked about constantly full of
You're talking about TCG.
Yeah.
I guess you guys were in the player more.
Yeah, I was about to say you spent 5 minutes in the player and you were looking at cards. So
that's accurate.
The game was massive. The area was full, and they had a giant space.
I am wrong.
Most of the weekend. The difference is, they didn't fix the problem. Donald hit it on the head. He hit the nail right on the head. You have this popular game everyone clearly wants. Everyone clearly wants to learn to play.
Yeah.
You have people willing to teach, and you just can't get anything for it. Like,
yeah, at that level,
right?
Like Lorcana has boxes there for people.
Lorcana was wheeling product out on pallets. Wizards of the Coast Magic was wheeling carts of boxes.
Frankly, it's one of the things that Sorcery did really well.
Yeah.
Almost. I mean, until today, they ran out of product today, Sunday. But every day, basically anybody who wanted to learn to play and play could go buy a box.
Yeah.
Other than today.
And I expect Sorcery to lean into that more, that building of community, that grassroots, that ground up, and they do that extremely well.
But my point is, like, Sorcery is smaller, and like it's the logistics of having boxes is more difficult for Sorcery compared to Fantasy Flight, Asmodee, big.
I think those logistics are probably harder. Luke asked, bringing in massive pallets of boxes.
Yeah.
It's harder than bringing in,
You have a lot more resources, though. It's not the two people. I'm saying, like, Star Wars, if they really cared about that, like Lorcana does, right? They really cared about that.
They can't because they don't have the product.
Well, they do. They sold it on Amazon.
But my point, maybe they had the product a month and a half ago.
Yeah.
But my point was that Sorcery is going to give you that feel, that connection, that sense of community. These massive games, you'll have a sense of connection to your sub-community, to people you're there playing with, but I don't think it's on Ravensburger, I don't think it's on Asmodee, I don't think, frankly, it's on Wizards of the Coast to make you feel a sense of community when you're at the booth for their trading card game, because the sense of community is, oh my gosh, look at the hundreds of people around.
Yeah, like, I thought Pastimes did a pretty good job of that. Like when we were playing the event, like I didn't have food token, so I had written down on a piece of paper food.
Yeah.
And like the guy came up, he's like, "Hey man, here's some food tokens, and like they cared enough to be active in their
Right, but I'm saying that's not on the major game brand to build that sense of community.
The Pastimes was doing it
Sure.
for Wizard or whatever, but
Shout out Pastimes.
Yeah.
And the deck box that somebody snagged. Oh, you said you got me a pack. Are you willing to give that pack up? You said that last night. You said it was my pack.
I did. It's in the car.
you can have my stuff.
Thanks.
I don't
I got you a Bloomberg play booster.
a Bloomberg play booster.
Wow, he does not like you at all.
I heard that those have no hits in them last week on a podcast, and somebody argued that they were wrong. I was wrong, gosh.
That's 2 in 1 video. Are you gonna set on fire? I don't want to be next to you.
All right. Anything else on Star Wars?
Well, if people don't know, there were 200 limited, the exclusive promo pack, limited 200 a day, so 800 total for the whole weekend. It was impossible to get, like, as soon as you...
All three of us every morning were on our phones trying to get them.
Yeah.
We didn't get a single one.
No.
As soon as you... Now, granted, I would rather do that than stand in a line for 6 hours and not get one. But still, it just feels bad that something you try to get, like, you just can't. I didn't care. I was trying to get it for Justin. Sorry, Justin, I let you down. But
Justin, I gave you mine too.
yeah,
Shut up.
but I mean, I can't believe that it is that, like, it's mostly people just trying to flip it. Like, that's what sucks, is the people that actually want it are unable to get it.
I don't know if it's mostly. I don't know if out of the 200, 101 of them will end up on the secondary market, right? But I think there is a large portion of flipping going on for sure. But you leaned into something, and this is more of a failure of the app to me. The whole, there's 200 a day, Ravensburger, there's 50 Troves a day. That, I know that you can't do unlimited, they'll all be gone on the first day.
Right.
But like, that model sucks. I would rather have, I can't click the button, than I waited in the 3-hour line for a Trove and I found out they're gone, right?
Yeah, I guess where I feel is like the product as a whole was bad. 5 cards for $100. I think I wish they would have made it 4 cards for $100, but the 5th card is a promo that everybody can get by going to the booth.
Yeah.
I had zero reason to ever go to the booth to learn more about Star Wars.
Yeah,
or
for sure,
engage
for
in it.
sure.
They didn't advertise, like, one of the reasons I wanted to play the Magic event was to get the Lightning Bolt.
Yeah,
it's a cool card
It's a cool
to commemorate the event. I had no incentive to go play in a Star Wars event because, like, I'm not going to win a Star Wars event. I love the game. I enjoy the game. I'm not going to win, but, like, to go and play with my friends like we did with, like, I would have done that. There's no reason to do that because there was no, commemorative thing to, like, I don't know.
And that's the weird part, is if you came to Gen Con for Star Wars, like, it was harder to get the thing to leave with.
Yeah.
To, like, what's
And some
the
people
item?
don't care about that. Some people probably just wanted to play in the thing.
I'm not saying for value either. I'm
I
saying
like-
to, like, put it on your wall, to put to remember I went to Gen Con with my friends, things like that.
I'm a addicted collector, and I like having something to remember. I bought board games this weekend. I was not going to buy any board games. I literally bought them with the justification in my brain of, like, oh, it'll be fun to, like, buy this and be like, where'd you get that game? Oh, when I went to Gen Con in 2024.
Trying to force that last board game on me.
For the record,
You're a board game bully, dude.
for the record of your giant brand new Forerunner, that I had to put my
We're going here.
suitcase.
Okay.
I had to put my suitcase in the back seat because your board games were floor to ceiling.
Hold on.
Up
That
the
is
back.
true. And this
Hold
is...
on.
None of this is accurate, because I literally left a
You
section
did.
in the
I was actually really impressed
Yeah.
that you left me a section.
It's
Like,
almost
you-
half the trunk.
Yeah, and you,
I stacked the board games to make room for you, and
So-
I'm still getting rid of it.
So hold on, are you bragging about how good of a person you are, or how giant your brand new Forerunner is?
I'm bragging about how well I can stack boxes. I Jenga'd that.
because there's
No,
there's at least
Tetris that.
there's at least 24 new games in that vehicle.
That is probably accurate, but only because I bought one of the mystery boxes. I
And
bought a booster pack. They have board game booster packs.
He can.
I know.
This man
I'm
cannot
aware.
help the game.
We saw somebody playing a TCG last night that came out of a board game mystery box at 1:30 in the morning. I don't love TCGs that much.
I walked past it. I was like, "There's no way I'm buying this. It's gonna be crappy games. And there's no way it's anything good." But then I was like, "Yeah, but when else? When else am I gonna have the opportunity to open a board game booster pack?"
Any
This man has the worst impulse control of anyone I've ever seen.
Shout out to George for his sports memorabilia booster pack. That was way more
The
fun.
only thing I regret in that is that I didn't do a box opening. So I can reload it later.
So you mentioned earlier that what if this moves to Vegas? Louis can't go. If you can both gamble and,
No, Vegas is great because
and convention gamble.
Vegas is great because they have penny slots.
Yeah.
So what I did when I was in Vegas last time is I just one day at 6 o'clock at night, I just went to the penny slots and I sat in the same place from 6 o'clock to like 2 in the morning. I spent a total of $100 and I got a bunch of free drinks.
Yeah, you were running with the cool kids then. I was on my own. I was on the outside.
If the cool kids are like this 90-year-old lady who I had a great conversation with, like that's the fun of like I don't actually gamble because the first night I always bring $100 a night when I went. I've only been to Vegas once, so all the times I've ever been to Vegas, $100 a night to gamble. And the first night I lost it in like 30 seconds. I played like 3 rounds of roulette.
Oh, roulette stuff.
Yeah, and then
Roulette
I was like,
stuff.
well, I'm gonna go to penny slots, and it was like 9 hours of entertainment for two. We spent $30 on a movie yesterday to take a nap.
Hey, that was the best nap ever. That was the best nap of all time. That might be the greatest nap I've ever taken in my life. I had laid down both chairs, and I was doing a diagonal thing so that my feet could be up on the thing and my head could be on the headrest.
All right. The only other thing I wanted to talk about was we promised at the beginning of the video that we would talk about the Sorcery event, and so now at the back end of the video we're going to talk about the Sorcery event. It was great. Last night
Are you excited to hear about a sorcery event, Donald?
Yeah.
You guys saw it.
You want me to go sit in that chair next to you?
Hold on.
I kind of
I have to-
participated because
Yeah, I would like to
Because you Sherpa'd his stuff
I would
and
like
gave
to
him
thank
sleeves.
Donald for letting me borrow his sleeves, and I had no intention of this, but he also sleeved my deck.
He also Sherpa'd. You remember we were just talking about all the board games you bought?
Yeah.
And that giant board game
You
backpack?
guys are making me seem like an asshole.
Or,
Or that is, I said, if anybody wants to go to the car, you could also grab me at the board games.
did you want to go to the car?
You did, I never
Yes.
said anybody had to go to the car.
Yes, I wanted to go to the car, Josh.
All right, tell us about your event, Louis. Hit us with it.
You guys are jerks.
Yeah, normally you're
really,
holding.
Really, this is why you need to have a hotel at the venue because nobody wants to carry
Nobody
around
wants to go to the car.
to the car. The events were great. They had, so the way that it was set up, they had essentially 64 tables or slots for tables, and they couldn't get any more. They tried.
Yeah.
They wanted to do more things, and it sold out every time. Every event sold out. But because they only had so many tables, if an event went longer, they didn't have backup tables to like
Kick
move
off the
things.
next one, yeah.
So like my event got delayed by like an hour or so. It was great. We drafted. They've got the new draft going on where you get the news. I don't remember what it's called, but it was the promo.
Sorcery.
No, that's the old
Spell Slinger.
Yeah,
Spell
because you
Slinger.
get 4. It was great. It totally changes draft because you also have the basic sites now that don't have these like like the deserts deal 1 damage to something nearby. So it kind of changed the draft a lot. But the reality is like everybody was just excited to play, and what I was saying about Star Wars, it was a little bit biased because Sorcery had such a tight-knit community. Everybody those guys stayed down there and played basically the whole weekend.
Sure.
They interacted with each other, and like it was like a really cool thing to see this like knitting of the community come together. And then last night they had like a casual play and trade event, and so they like celebrated the winners of the event. They celebrated all the volunteers. They celebrated Simon and Chase were celebrating each other. It was just really cool to see like the behind the scenes and have everybody so excited to be part of the community. And then they did a bunch of giveaways. They gave away uncut sheets to all the casual players because the winner won an uncut sheet and really cool prizing. But they kept 4 things, like really big prizes, to do as just like random prize support for anybody who came. And so it's really cool to see that kind of stuff. They just did a really good job of making do with what they had and making it really special for those who came for Sorcery. And that's the win there, I think.
I gotta ask.
Yeah.
This cheering that went on, we're celebrating people. I was taking a brain break. I was on the 3rd level of Lucas Oil Stadium.
Taking a brain break.
I had my feet up. I was kind of kicking back, and I heard cheering. I looked down. Oh, it's in the sorcery section. And I got a little mad. Like, if these people are spending their time to cheer for you, be upset. Did they cheer for you?
No.
Good job, Sorcery.
Cheering.
That's what makes you the GOAT.
That's when they were talking. Because there was some cheering because of the winner. It's like it was so cool. I don't get it.
As long as it wasn't for you.
Yeah, no. I don't get it. Like watching other people play card games does nothing for me. Like
Old Pro Tour Magic,
Yeah.
dude. Ooh,
but like
it was
you
so
know, but
good.
they're playing and they've got 40 people surrounding them. The entire everybody who was in the event is watching.
You gotta know who wins.
It was cool. It was cool. So that's what a lot of the cheering was. But yeah. Anyway, I had fun.
That cheering was the most excitement that's happened in Lucas Oil Stadium in like 5 years.
Wow.
Would
That's a wild take.
Would you come? Would you go back?
Yeah, 100%. This was a blast. Would I go back now? No, I need a con break.
Yeah, I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
I need to sleep like for at least 2 days straight.
Yeah.
But I can't because I go to work tomorrow.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
Because some of us have jobs.
Yeah. But it was a blast. I don't know if I would do this every year. I think I would want to bounce around to other cons. But
If it was going to be some, like, again, because TCGs are my draw, and I was turned off by the world's worst board game and then turned back on by maybe the world's best board
Plunder.
game. Shout out to
Plunder.
the Plunder crew.
Yeah.
You know who you are. This is something I think wouldn't be my yearly. I could do like a Magic Con. I could see making my yearly because that, like, there's something for me every single step
Right.
in a Magic Con. But as long as there's space for this, this is cool because how often do you get to do something like this?
Right.
Gen Con is kind of that something for everybody though.
Yeah.
I mean, you go to a Magic Con, you're just
You
doing
have to be
Magic
you
things.
have to be me. You have to be
But-
a fan of Magic.
But yeah, like a Gen Con, I mean, if you were a specific community, that was the place that it would
100%.
exist. I mean, there was a community for every little niche thing that ever has existed.
Under the stairs, no object games at 1:30 in the morning. Just a group of people sitting in a circle playing a
Old
game.
people too, not like
Well, easy with the old people.
no.
They were
some.
pretty. There were
was like,
some.
there was definitely like a 60-year-old
There
at
definitely was.
1:30 in the morning playing.
You gotta get your grind on, man.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know how they do it.
Those are the
I
people
was-
who have been here every year.
Yes,
Yeah.
they've got Gen Con stamina.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. If you're watching this far, congratulations to you. You must be as tired as we are. Donald, thank you for being our special guest today.
Yeah.
Oh, Josh, thanks for making me look short all weekend.
This is awesome.
And you, thank you for watching. And remember to be kind to the people around you. And may the zoo be with you.
And also with you, dude.
I'm just here.